You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Several shots have been fired. Possible shotgun. At least 10 shots heard.
This morning, police in Maryland are searching the home of the suspected gunman who killed 5 journalists at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Annapolis. More money on the way to help Florida recover from Hurricane Irma. We'll tell you how much money and where it's going. Plus, Guinness drinkers can now go to a Guinness brewery here in this country for the first time since the 1950s. Good way to start the day. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Good morning, 6 o'clock, June 29th, Friday. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie Webb is back on Monday. John Scalzi's tracking some rain around the peninsula. John?
Yeah, indeed. We had some big storms during the overnight in northern Gulf waters. It was a line of showers, a complex of storms that sunk southward. Kind of died out as it did so, but it certainly left a boundary out in Gulf waters, which with a little daytime heating, I'm sure will bring us a good chance of showers again today. We're not looking at a whole lot of action here currently, but I think as we head into the afternoon, we certainly will. Even in the later parts of the morning, we'll start to see a few scattered showers along our coastline before all of that activity moves inland, where they'll explode into numerous thunderstorms, I think, a little bit later in the day. Forecast breaking it out looks like this. By 9 a.m., about a 40% chance of that light drizzle near the coast, followed by a 50% chance by noon as showers and thunderstorms begin to pop up in inland areas. Then as we head into the afternoon, later afternoon, we'll start to see them become more numerous in inland locations with possibly some heavy rain there, just as we saw yesterday, and a few of those showers perhaps building back toward the coast. Have the weekend forecast for you coming up in a few, Ray.
Okay, looking forward to that. Thank you, John. This is a live look right now. Our camera is set up at the Van Wezel right now, where the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix boats are queuing up there as dawn begins to break off in the distance over Sarasota Bay. There's some nice boats. The Geico boat will be in town this weekend as well. It's always a crowd favorite. So, yeah, tens of thousands are expected to be on Lido Key Beach this weekend for the 34th annual races in Sarasota. Let's go to the maps right now. Still an ongoing issue at Cortez and 14th Street West. Be aware of that. Also State Road 70 in the eastbound lane. Let's check farther south now on the map in the northern half of Sarasota County. All earlier issues have since cleared up outside of some extra traffic on Siesta Key, northbound right there along Ocean Drive. Not sure what's going on there. Farther south, we'll check the map in the South County region. Nothing red or even yellow for that matter, all clear at 6:02. This morning, police in Maryland continue to search for evidence and a motive for the mass shooting in an Annapolis newsroom yesterday. The suspect reportedly lost a defamation lawsuit to the paper 6 years ago. Reporter Karen Kafa is in Annapolis with the latest.
Overnight, police in Maryland searched the home of the suspected gunman in what appears to be the deadliest attack on journalists in the U.S. in years.
This was a targeted attack on the Capital Gazette.
Shots fired at the Annapolis, Maryland newspaper yesterday afternoon. Investigators say the suspect, 38-year-old Gerald Ramos.
Guy was holding what looked like a big shotgun, pointing the gun deeper into the office, like he was targeting people.
Inside, 5 people killed, another 2 injured. Employees scrambled for cover. Others hid from the shooter. The paper's crime reporter Phil Davis tweeting, "There is nothing more terrifying than hearing multiple people get shot while you're under your desk and then hear the gunman reload." The retired editor of the paper says the suspect had a history of social media threats against him and the paper for reporting on his guilty plea to stalking his ex-girlfriend in 2011.
He kept track of both the reporter and I. He knew we had left. So I doubt that he was looking for me when he came in that door, but he was certainly looking to retaliate.
The Gazette's sister paper, the Baltimore Sun, wrote tributes to the victims: Gerald Fishman, Rob Hyacin, John McNamara, Rebecca Smith, and Wendy Winters. This morning, their newspaper's front cover, the Capital Gazette refusing to let the tragedy stop it from covering the story. Sources say the suspect hasn't been cooperating and had to be ID'd through facial recognition. We know years ago the Capital Gazette reported his alleged threats to police. The suspect also filed a defamation lawsuit against the newspaper in 2012 and lost. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Annapolis.
The Annapolis mayor says the loss of these 5 is a great loss to the community. This morning, the immigration situation remains tense as protests continue in response to the thousands of children separated from their families along the border. Vice President Mike Pence met with Latin American presidents in Guatemala to discuss the issue regarding the thousands who flee those countries for the United States. President Trump signed an executive order aimed at keeping migrant families together. A judge gave the government 2 to 4 weeks to reunite those families. A Longboat Key police officer has been forced to resign for keeping and sharing photos of dead bodies. Longboat Key Police Chief Peter Cummings says that Jeffrey Houchins faced termination after an internal affairs investigation. That investigation concluded that Houchins had indeed committed several policy violations, including keeping photos of dead bodies from crime scenes he had taken from previous agencies where he was employed and then showing them off to people outside the agency. The Holmes Beach Police Department is reminding folks there to lock their doors after a woman came home to a burglar in her house. It happened on 75th Street yesterday afternoon. She says when she went inside, there was a man inside her bedroom. She says he knocked her down and fortunately ran off. More money is on the way to help Florida recover from Hurricane Irma. The federal government has approved Florida's request for $616 million. They'll be partially used to repair destroyed or damaged homes. We're in the final days of the Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month. It's a disorder that impacts thousands of military veterans across the country every year. Our Marla Spence shares some of the signs and symptoms and what can be done to treat the disorder as well. Marla?
Hey Ray, PTSD is known as a mental health problem that some people develop after experiencing or witnessing a life-threatening event. Among millions, PTSD specifically impacts our military veterans. Now, we reached out to one of the largest VA hospitals locally, which is Bay Pines VA Hospital in St. Pete. A spokesperson there tells us just between October 1st of 2016 to September 30th of last year, more than 1,800 veterans were treated for PTSD. That spokesperson also tells us overall, out of the 110,000 veterans served at the healthcare facility last year, more than 22,000 of them were treated for some type of mental health disorder. Now, PTSD doesn't only impact military veterans, but also anyone who's gone through a traumatic event in their life. So here's how to spot if you or a loved one has PTSD. Oftentimes, people who have the disorder relive the traumatic event they previously experienced. They also have bad memories or nightmares, or even feel like they're going through the event all over again. Another sign is being jittery or always being alert and on the lookout for danger. They also have trouble concentrating, sleeping, and suddenly feeling angry, irritable, or easily scared. Now, people with PTSD usually look at psychotherapy as a form of treatment for the disorder. Psychotherapy focuses on memory of traumatic events and with those with PTSD. Now, there are also other ways to treat the disorder. Coming up at 6:30 rather, we're telling you about one organization on the Suncoast that dedicates its time to helping military veterans overcome the disorder at no cost. Back to you.
Thank you, Marla. The Manatee County School District now has a new interim superintendent. This is Cynthia Saunders. She was sworn in yesterday in front of friends and family. Saunders has 28 years experience as a teacher, assistant principal, and principal. Her most recent job was as Deputy Superintendent of Instructional Services in Manatee County, and she retains that job right now in the interim. But for now, she'll take the place of Dr. Diana Green, who accepted the top job in Duval County. Saunders and Green had worked together for years, even before they got to Manatee County.
I came with her from Marion County. We've worked side by side for over 20 years. So I'm probably as equipped as anybody to step in here and continue the foundation that she's laid before the district.
She's in the job as an interim role. They'll search now for a full-time superintendent. And now that Sanders is in place, Diana Green will head to Jacksonville. Her first day on the job in Duval County is Monday. In the midst of a need for tighter school security, the Sarasota County Sheriff and School District have finally agreed on a plan. This upcoming school year, school resource deputies will be placed in all middle and high schools within the district. Each high school will have 2 deputies on staff. Middle schools will have 1. The cost will be split 80% for the district, 20% for the sheriff's office. That's about a $1.2 million price tag for the district.
I take the sheriff at his word. He's ready to move forward and work together, and that is my commitment, and so forward we go.
As far as the elementary schools, Sarasota County's school district has offered 19 officers jobs, 15 of which have been accepted. These positions, along with the chief position right there, are pending background checks and school board approval. The district expects all these officers to be ready for the first day of school in late August. New this morning, Guinness is preparing to open its first brewery in this country since the 1950s. The Guinness Open Gate Brewery and Barrel House are set to open August 3rd in Baltimore. In addition to the brewery, the $80 million project will have public tours, a tap room with more than 90 taps for beer tastings, and a 270-seat restaurant. This is in Maryland. It's expected to create about 200 hospitality jobs in the area. The facility will focus on brewing various styles and flavors, including barrel-aged beers to target the American craft beer market. Still ahead, a Memphis nonprofit has a unique approach to helping sex trafficking survivors. We'll get the buzz on that when we come back. 6:10 right now. Here's a peek outside our studios. Nice sunrise trying to develop right there. Let's get the forecast for today and the weekend from John Scalzi.
Well, of course, the big weekend boat races are upon us, and it looks like we'll probably have mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 80s, and a good chance for storms each day, so it's important to remember those lightning safety tips. If you hear the thunder, you need to seek shelter. South winds for race day Saturday at about 10 knots with 2 foot or less seas, and pretty much the same thing with perhaps a little more of a southwesterly wind on race day Sunday. Perfect conditions for the boats, I would say. The forecast for the rest of today includes a developing westerly wind flow, which is, I suppose, a problem for the red tide status. Siesta Key showing low levels, and the latest reports from Mote Marine spotters showing moderate to intense levels from beaches around Minnesota down through Gasparilla. Gasparilla, by the way, having some heavy fish kill down there. We'll have the forecast for you for the weekend in just a moment.
Hunger is a growing problem in our area, and a huge number of Suncoast residents are suffering in silence.
It could be your coworker,
your child's classmate,
or your friend fighting to secure their next meal. But you can help.
ABC7 is partnering with local organizations to help feed the Suncoast.
Go to mysuncoast.com/hunger to join the fight. Help us.
Help the hungry.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by Batteries Plus, the Florida Lottery, and Sarasota Glass and Mirror.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
We have an 83-degree air temperature and a dew point already. Kind of warm out there at 75. The higher the dew point, the more moisture there is in the air, and dew points in the mid-70s definitely feel sticky, and that's what we have outside. 90 is our heat index already. Can you believe that? A 90-degree feels like at this hour of the morning. Thanks to that westerly wind flow just driving the moisture right across the region. By 9 o'clock, we'll have about a 40% chance of seeing an isolated shower or two near the coastline. Light stuff, nothing really heavy. But as we head into the noontime hour and then into the 3 p.m. hour, we'll watch better chances for rainfall across the region. First, at noon, around a 50% chance of showers near the coastline, perhaps even building into isolated thunderstorms as they gradually drift into inland areas. By 3 p.m., the rain chance goes up. But that's a lot of that in inland locations where the showers will become more numerous and become stronger. Then as we head into the evening, some of those inland showers will drift back to the coast, and so we'll put in about a 40% chance of showers for both inland and near the coastline, with dying showers drifting in kind of a random motion this afternoon. We had a large area of complex thunderstorms sinking southward, that little trough of low pressure fading away, but still leaving a boundary over the Gulf waters where showers and thunderstorms will begin to build as we develop a little bit of daytime heating. Once that happens, I think radar will light up, though right now it's quiet. And most of the morning drive time is going to be just fine. I don't really see a problem there. It's the drive home where I think we might have more thunderstorm activity around. High pressure down to our south or just over south central Florida will bring a westerly wind, light westerly wind for us again today, encouraging those showers to drift toward the other coast as they build. As we move through the afternoon, we'll watch a few of those showers build out in Gulf waters as well as we perhaps develop another outflow from a system to the north. A low pressure area moving across North Florida will push that high to the south. A high will build to the north as we head into the beginning of next week, and our winds will start to shift to a more easterly direction by next week. That may draw down some drier air. This is what we think will happen for the amount of moisture in the air available to produce rainfall over the course of the weekend. For Friday, the humid air really starts to move in, and then over the weekend, I think we have a pretty good chance of seeing some showers and thunderstorms. But there's dry air just off the mid-Atlantic coast, and some of that I think will work its way in just in time for the 4th of July holiday. Yep, I think we'll reduce our rain chances just a little bit. Southwest wind comes in at about 10. The southerly wind flow will tend to encourage a good sea breeze to develop today. 2-foot seas, light chop. 92 our daytime high today, 90 tomorrow. We'll look for good chances of rain both days. In fact, even Sunday, good chances of rain. Drier air starts to filter in on Monday, and I think by our 4th of July holiday, we'll have a fair amount of dry air, reducing rain chances to about 30%. That said, the winds were going to reverse, coming at us from the east, so the focus for shower and thunderstorm activity on Wednesday will be closer to the coast. Fewer storms, but they'll be closer to the coast. The forecast on Thursday calls for more of the same. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic. Ongoing issue there at a busy spot in Manatee County. Be aware of the accident that happened about an hour and 15 minutes ago at Cortez and 14th Street West. Otherwise, a buildup there on the bridge called the Green Bridge from Palmetto into downtown Bradenton, also 64 eastbound as you head toward the interstate. Farther south now, the northern half of Sarasota County showing some issues on Bee Ridge eastbound from Tuttle as you head toward Beneva. And then our South County map will indicate a couple issues there. First off, on the 681 connector, as you go from the Laurel-Nokomis area toward the interstate, some congestion there early on. Also southbound 41 as you head toward Nokomis. New this morning, a nonprofit in Memphis has a unique approach to helping victims of sex trafficking. Get this, they found that caring for bees and harvesting their honey helps the women recover. Reporter Jessica Holly discovered what the buzz is all about.
Good morning, ladies.
Nestled in the middle of a field at the Baptist Memorial Hospital in Collierville are 4 beehives. They're keepers healing from their past.
We have kind of a saying that we say at Thistle and Bee, and that's that love and bees heal.
Good morning.
These beekeepers are former prostitutes and victims of sex trafficking. It's their next chapter in life, learning to not only care for these bees, but also earn a living wage, manufacturing and selling the honey and honey-drizzled granola at local grocery stores like Curb Market and High Point Grocery.
I would say that the women that we serve have never had a normal life. And so when they come to us, they really are ready to experience something different than what they've experienced thus far in life.
In Thistle and Bee's first year, the nonprofit has helped 7 women rebuild their lives. These hives and the beekeepers catch the attention of hospital visitors as they pull on the property.
When we were introduced to Thistle and Bee, we knew that their mission aligned perfectly with ours because they have a holistic approach to not only financially assisting these women, but also spiritually and emotionally assisting with their healing.
They're starting to cap it off, so it's almost ready.
The growth that we've seen in that year's time has been just overwhelming. We've seen them grow both emotionally, spiritually.
Just as these female bees work together in the hive to thrive, these survivors, too, work together as they rebuild their lives.
Interesting story there. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the latest developments in the flooded cave rescue in Thailand. A soccer team missing for almost a week. The story when we come back.
Like no other. So why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati, Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here.
Why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, We're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Welcome back. Jeffrey the giraffe is heading into the sunset. Today, Toys R Us is closing the rest of its stores in the U.S. Last year, the 70-year-old retailer filed for bankruptcy. The company was doomed by major debt after going private back in 2005. New details this morning show some employees are staging protests, saying they've not received severance checks. Toys R Us will still have some other stores, including in Canada. A desperate rescue effort is underway this morning in a flooded cave system in Thailand. 12 young soccer players and their coach have been missing for nearly a week. ABC's Candace Gibson has our story.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the massive overseas rescue operation underway to find 12 trapped soccer players and their coach in a Thailand cave. Approximately 1,000 people, including U.S. military members, scouring the mountain looking for alternate or hidden entrances into the caverns. The boys, ranging in age from 13 to 16, have been trapped since Saturday when they ventured inside after a soccer game. Their bikes and soccer cleats seen lining the entrance. But heavy, constant rain flooded the narrow passageways, making it impossible for them to escape.
We don't know how far they have gone into the system.
Overnight, outside the cave, families setting up shrines and offerings as they gather with monks to pray for the boys' safe return. And we'll have a live report from Thailand coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
I thought I was managing my moderate to severe Crohn's disease. Then I realized something was missing. Me. My symptoms were keeping me from being there. So I talked to my doctor and learned Humira is for people who still have symptoms of Crohn's disease after trying other medications. And the majority of people on Humira saw significant symptom relief, and many achieved remission in as little as 4 weeks.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Be there for you and them. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, remission is possible.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease a new Subaru Impreza today for just $155 a month. Or get 0% financing with zero down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit RTJ Golf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/. audubon.org/conservation.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
This morning, police in Maryland are searching the home of a suspected gunman who killed 4 journalists and a sales assistant at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Annapolis. It's PTSD Awareness Month. We'll share a unique way some cope with the disorder. And a no swim advisory on the Suncoast will tell you where and how long it should last. Good Morning Suncoast resumes right now. Welcome back, 6:30 on this Friday morning. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie rejoins us on Monday. Meantime, John Scalzi is tracking the storms that might be around the Florida coastline.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see some developing a little bit later on this morning, developing along the coast and then moving into inland areas. Like we've seen over the last several days, we had a good line of storms developing southward in Gulf waters, kind of falling apart as it did that, but leaving a leftover boundary that will help encourage shower formation a little bit later on this morning. Our rain chance is good today. We have had a focus over the last several days of showers in inland areas because we have this west wind pushing all activity in that direction. And that'll be the case again today. We'll have showers near the coast, but the heaviest rain will occur inland. Al in Northport picked up a 1/4 inch of rainfall yesterday, and Cooper in central Sarasota picked up only a few hundredths of an inch of rain. But I think in inland areas, the rainfall totals were a lot heavier and will be again this afternoon and tomorrow and the day after. We have a fair amount of sunshine poking through the clouds, so we will see temperatures kind of rise quickly up into the near 90-degree range by noon once again, with about a 50% chance of showers developing along the coastline at noon. And then everything kind of moves inland where the rain chances will be 60% by afternoon. We'll talk about the weekend forecast coming up in a few.
All right, talk to you soon, John. Our live camera right now is stationed at the Van Wezel, getting some shots of the boats all lined up for this weekend's 34th annual Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix off Lido Key. Pretty boat there, probably expensive boat as well. Big weekend on the Suncoast along Lido Key. Let's check the maps right now and see if that issue is resolved. It's not. Cortez at 14th Street, one of the biggest intersections in Manatee County, an accident there for nearly the past 2 hours. We'll have to find out more about that throughout the morning. Also, State Road 70 westbound as you cross over 301, some problems there. Checking the northern half of Sarasota County now. Some issues there on Fruitville westbound at McIntosh, Beneva eastbound between Tuttle and Beneva, also out at Honoré to Cattleman, and Clark Road, where Stickney Point turns into Clark as you head towards Swift. And then our final map to the south will show a little bit of red there on the map way down by the Northport, Port Charlotte area in the South County region. A gunman opened fire through the glass door of the Capital Gazette in Annapolis yesterday, killing 5 people and injuring 2 others. The man entered the building with a shotgun and smoke grenades, walked through the lower level of the building, headed straight to the newsroom. Here's a witness.
You know, at some point when I was listening to him reload, it's, you know, are we all going to die? Is he not going to leave until everyone in here is dead?
There are reports the suspect lost a defamation suit to the paper 6 years ago. Despite the shooting, the paper still managed to publish this morning their own tragedy, of course, is the main headline. Immigration officials are on a deadline to reunite families of immigrants seeking asylum. As reporter John Lawrence shows us, the situation along the border is still quite tense.
Vice President Pence in Guatemala Thursday, meeting with Latin American presidents.
He says something needs to be done about the thousands of people who flee those countries for the U.S.
I say with great respect to the presidents gathered here, this exodus must end. It is a threat to the security of the United States.
As Pence said those words, migrants continue to flood the U.S. border, including this father and his 3-year-old son who just left Honduras seeking asylum in the U.S.
Strangers would show up to his house, they would ask for money, and they would threaten him in front of his child. They kept threatening to kill him, and they iban a matar a tu hijo también. She said they would even kill the 3-year-old.
These immigrants will be taken to a processing center where they hope for the best. Meanwhile, protesters continue to blast the Trump administration's immigration policy.
This is the people's house. You cannot keep us out.
Hundreds of members of the Women's March were at the Justice Department, voicing opposition to the separation of families at the border. President Trump signed an executive order last week aimed at keeping migrant families together. Most of the children who were taken away from their families before that order have not yet been reunited. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And tomorrow, the group Families Belong Together plan to coordinate protests in cities across the country. A Manatee County armed serial robber and his accomplice have pled guilty. The two take responsibility for 5 business burglaries back in August of 2017. Bradenton resident Antoine Williams faces a sentence of 32 years to life in prison, and Palmetto resident Tronish Ackerman faces 7 years to life. During each robbery, Williams entered the business, pointed a handgun at employees and customers, and forced employees to give him money. Ackerman acted as Williams's getaway driver. New developments on a fatal crash between a motorcyclist and a Manatee County Sheriff's deputy the other night. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office has identified the cyclist involved as a David McIntosh. The collision happened about 9 o'clock on Wednesday night on Cortez Road. The deputy involved was taken to the hospital but has since been released. This morning, the Sheriff's Office wants to talk to anybody who might have witnessed the crash. Call 866-634-TIPS. We are in the final days of the Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month. It's a disorder that impacts thousands across the country. Last year, out of 110,000 veterans served at the Bay Pines Clinic in St. Petersburg, more than 22,000 were treated for some type of mental health diagnosis, including PTSD. Our Marla Spence has a look at what one organization is doing on the Suncoast to combat this ongoing disorder. Marla?
Hey Ray, there are a list of ways to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, but one organization in Palmetto is using what we call a man's best friend to combat the mental disorder. That organization, the Southeastern Guide Dogs, staff there work to transform lives in creating and nurturing partnerships between people and dogs, specifically those with PTSD. Now, experts train service dogs and prepare military veterans on how to live with their service dog. Veterans with PTSD don't get their dogs right away, but they stay on site of Southeastern Guide Dogs for 11 days for training. We're told no service dog has been returned and has been proven to provide and to help with PTSD. Now, a service dog program manager at the facility tells us how a cute, furry, friendly dog can help ease the stress of veterans with PTSD.
A dog like Chevy is trained to assist the person with PTSD in a number of different ways. Hopefully he will be able to primarily interrupt and distract the anxiety from building. They are very prone to getting panic attacks. And if we can stop it before it starts, get their attention back on the dog rather than what's going on around them, that is the most effective tool this dog can bring, because then they're not scared to go out. The dog also provides a barrier and what we like to refer to as a bridge with strangers and anyone in the public approaching this individual and wanting just to talk about a dog. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about this beautiful, handsome, adorable dog at their side? And it's a safe topic. It's not asking them about their service. So they get comfortable with that and they get more comfortable going places.
Additionally, the service dog also helps to fight off depression in those with PTSD by getting them up and out of the house and also getting them to be more sociable. The service provided by Southeastern Guide Dogs are free of charge. Back to you.
Thank you, Marla. And in a way to increase pedestrian safety, Sarasota has added a new crosswalk for pedestrians near US 41 and 1st Street. to connect the Ritz-Carlton area back to the other side of the street. It's called a hawk signal. It gives pedestrians time to cross US 41 and also add a few minutes to your drive time as well. Drivers will see a yellow signal to slow down, a red light to stop, and a red flashing light warning you to proceed with caution. A no swim advisory has been issued for Bird Key Park. Tests revealed heightened levels of bacteria there. That area remains closed until further notice. Health officials say decaying algae, heavy rain, and also animal feces washed into the water. At this time, no other beaches are affected in Sarasota County. However, red tide is impacting some beaches along the Suncoast right now, causing respiratory issues for beachgoers and also killing plenty of sea life. Typically, the sea life killed during these red tide blooms are bottom feeders and smaller fish, but this week a sea turtle and a manatee washed ashore as well. 2 vendors at Englewood Beach have been closed due to red tide on Manasota Key. Coastal Wildlife Club volunteers say it has been a challenging time for them as well.
This is the worst that I've seen. It's been really difficult for the past week. You're coughing now. Imagine how we've been coughing, working out here for 2 or 3 hours a day, monitoring sea turtle nests.
Well, this map from the Fish and Wildlife shows the affected areas with the worst red tide. The beaches include Lido, Siesta, Turtle, Nokomis, and Venice beaches. 4th of July is next week. Don't forget, be careful when you're in the presence of fireworks. 8 people died in firework-related emergencies last year, and thousands of others were injured. According to the CPSC, there were about 12,900 fireworks injuries in 2017. 67% of those occurred during the month of July. No surprise there. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, we are midway through 2018, making it the perfect time to do a financial tune-up. We'll have a story when we come back. First, here's a peek outside our window at a pretty pastel sky there, very nice. Had a nice sunset also last night. Let's take a live shot now of the Van Wezel parking lot, and there's the scene where the Grand Prix boats are lining up and preparing for the 34th annual Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix this weekend off Lido Key Beach. Tens of thousands of you will head out to the beaches, try to find some parking, and enjoy the fast boats offshore. John Scalzi, also a big fan of boat racing.
That's nice stuff, good stuff. And it looks like we'll have fairly decent weather through the weekend, though we do have good rain chances, and you will have to remember your lightning safety tip, but no day will be a complete rain out, so that's good news. We have a couple of areas of still moderate risk for fire danger spread, though Sarasota County has now been reduced to low. We still have Manatee County and Charlotte County that have not received quite as much rainfall, and so they're still up there. Thunderstorm risk, we have that today. In fact, we're in a marginal risk for some severe weather. The reason for that is the potential of some gusty winds that may accompany some of the storms. Not tornadoes, nothing like that, but the potential of some stronger gusty winds. We'll detail the forecast for you coming up in a few.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment, and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
About every 3 minutes in America,
someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore two hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live.
I live.
She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
83 degrees the air temperature. We have a 90-degree heat index at this hour thanks to that dew point value now at 75. So a high dew point value means lots of moisture in our air. And that's the reason it's going to feel pretty sticky all day today. 77% relative humidity. By the time we get to 9 o'clock in just a few hours, we'll have about a 40% chance of some showers around. There'll be light stuff, hit and miss here and there along the coastline. Brief periods of drizzle or spotty rain. Perhaps you'll see some of that. Most of us will not. Again, the 40% chance means 60% chance you're not going to see that. But as we head into the noontime hour, then especially later in the afternoon, our rain chances go way up. We have leftover boundaries from earlier overnight storms, plus daytime heating, moisture, all of that adding together to create the potential of about a 50% chance of some coastal showers by 12 p.m. And then by 3 p.m., everything moves inland, but the rain chance goes up. And there could be some storms around, too, that could produce some strong winds. So we'll watch for that. 7 p.m., 40% chance of some leftover storms. We had a big line of showers drop southward in kind of a complex of storms. Fizzled out, and it's left a boundary that still exists out in the Gulf waters and will help be a focal point for showers. But a similar sort of situation could build again today. And with that might come the potential for some gusty winds. So we're in a marginal risk for severe weather, which basically means just over the line into where it might be possible. And not for tornadoes, not for hail, but for gusty winds, damaging winds possibly. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. That would be later in the afternoon. And that will occur mostly in inland areas, but the threat also extends toward the interstate. Right now, everything is quiet. Morning commute should be just fine. Westerly wind flow again encourages most of the activity to be in inland areas. But the forecast weather shows the showers and thunderstorms building to the north of us along that old boundary and then gradually sinking southward. Heavier storms, especially to the east of us. As we head into the weekend, we'll get a little bit of a low pressure area kind of drifting across northern Florida. As that happens, the moisture content of the air will go up, will spike up, in fact, and that will give us good chances of rainfall through the weekend. Not all day rainouts, but there could be some periods of heavy rain and certainly scattered to numerous thunderstorms around, and lots of people going to be at the beaches this weekend. So please remember the lightning safety tips. If you hear the thunder, you're in danger of being struck and should go into some location where you'll be safe. Dry weather to the north of us, dry air aloft, may work its way down in time for the 4th of July holiday, kind of reducing our rain chances a little bit. Southwest wind becoming south at about 10 knots in the forecast, kind of shaping up like this. The westerly wind flow will continue today, tomorrow, the day after. Moisture will increase over the weekend, and a little upper level kicker in the atmosphere may help enhance rainfall chances as well. Not all day rainouts, but certainly more numerous showers and thunderstorms around. Some drier air will work its way in on Monday, begin to, and kind of settle in on Tuesday and Wednesday. Winds will shift from a westerly direction to a more easterly direction, so we'll put in a 30% chance of a 4th of July shower. Again, the chances for rain are reduced, but the focus for where those showers will be is going to shift back to our coastline because winds will shift back to the east. And then on Thursday, a 30% chance of rain as well, right?
Checking traffic, still an ongoing issue there at Cortez and 14th Street West. Be aware of that. You might want to take 26th Street to the west or 301 to the east to avoid that busy intersection made busier by an accident from almost 2 hours ago, so could be serious. Farther south now, the northern half of Sarasota County. We'll find out that there's not much in the red right now, just some minor delays there on Bee Ridge eastbound, I should say Fruitville eastbound, as you go from Tuttle toward Beneva. And then checking our final map to the south, we'll find out not too much to report at 6:49 on this Friday morning. It is already the end of June, about the midway point of the year already. A perfect time to look at your finances to find out what you can improve for the second half of 2018. So here's some ideas. First off, start with a tax check. Make sure enough money is being taken out of your paycheck to avoid penalties. IRS.gov has a simple tax withholding calculator to help you figure it out. Tax.gov there. Second, make sure you have the right mix of assets for your age and your risk tolerance. And third, take a look at your credit report. You are entitled to a free report every year. And last but not least, change up those passwords for security is important. 6:50 right now, still ahead, your top 7 headlines before 7. Look how the sun is hitting the Renaissance and Alinari condos there. One of our prettiest shots in weeks of Sarasota Bay and looking off at the Longboat Key area. Just bask in the glow of that one. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast. Our top 7 headlines are straight ahead.
Suncoast Charities for Children and Powerboat P1 encourages you to share the beach with our marine wildlife during the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival. You can share the beach with our amazing sea turtles by waiting until sunrise to set up. Stay clear of nesting areas for our beautiful birds, and please don't forget our beloved manatees. Never swim towards them, and always obey manatees' slow speed zones. Together, we can all enjoy the races and share the beach.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota for big savings during the Jeep Celebration event. Shop the area's largest selection of new 2018 Jeep Wranglers, or get the most awarded SUV of all time, a new Jeep Cherokee, for as little as $19,999. Find the path to your next great adventure in the all-new Jeep Compass for just $17,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Time for our top 7 headlines before 7 a.m. First off, meteorologist John Scalzi's forecast.
Well, today is a good rain chance day, as will the weekend rain chance days as well. Sunglasses in the app is what you'll need to take with you today. We'll have inland showers or isolated coastal showers in the morning, followed by inland showers in the afternoon. It's already 83 degrees. You'll take your app with you so you can trace the showers on radar today, as they'll be almost anywhere, almost any time by afternoon, later in the afternoon. And then we'll always update the forecast on mysuncoast.com and social media. Ray?
Thank you, John. Number 2, checking first alert traffic, an ongoing issue there at Cortez and 14th Street West. You might want to avoid that busy spot due to the accident that's been going on there for 2 hours in the center of Manatee County. On to number 3 now. We are in the final days of Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Month. Last year, more than 22,000 veterans were treated for some type of mental health diagnosis. Some victims resort to guide dogs to help with depression. Number 4, money is on the way to help the state recover from Hurricane Irma. The federal government has given $616 million to help rebuild some houses in Florida. Number 5, a no swim advisory issued for Bird Key. The water there has revealed heightened levels of bacteria. The beach area will remain closed until further notice. At this time, no other beaches have been affected. Number 6, Toys R Us closing the rest of its stores in this country, including the one on Cortez in Manatee County. Toys R Us will still have some stores outside the country, including in Canada. And number 7, you saw it live here at 5:45 a.m. SpaceX launched a new resupply mission to the International Space Station. Today's launch kicks off SpaceX's 15th cargo flight for NASA with the Dragon spacecraft. Yeah. SpaceX works for NASA subcontractors. It's fun to watch that, wasn't it?
It really is fantastic to see. You know, hopefully the goal of getting space exploration back in business will come through, and you know, encourage a whole new group of scientists and young people to take up space exploration and the related sciences.
Yeah, transitional time right now. All right, thanks for watching. We leave you now with a shot from the Van Wezel. Here's a live shot of the boats. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday.